Hello, today in our lesson we are going to talk about reciprocal numbers. That is what these numbers are and how to find this reciprocal number. But first I'll give you some examples. Let's say that if we multiply 1/3 by 3/1, what do I get? When I multiply 1/3 by 3/1, I end up with 3/3. Or 1. Similarly, if I multiply 2/7 by 7 seconds, as the result, I will also get 1. Even if I multiply mixed numbers, if I multiply 2 3/5 by 5/13, then the result of the multiplication is 13/5 times 5/13, and that would be 1. So there are these numbers, that is, a pair of numbers that when multiplied give 1. In math, such numbers are called reciprocal numbers, or we write that it's a number. So we'll write that it's a number. This is a number, and that's the first 3. That's the inverted number. That's its inverse number. Thus, it turns out that in numbers that you can always find a pair of reciprocal numbers, those that when multiplied give 1. If we are asked a question whether these numbers are reciprocal, we multiply these numbers. And if in the answer we have 1, then these numbers will be called reciprocal numbers. Thus, guys, we can write down the algorithm of finding reciprocal numbers. But in this case, we need to take into account several positions. If we're looking for reciprocals for a simple fractional number, so if I have a fractional number, 2/5, then the inverse of that number, I just flip that number, that fraction, and I end up with 5/5. If I need to find the inverse of a mixed number, what do? Let's say 2 integers, 1/3. I must first convert that mixed number to an improper fraction. First I convert to an improper fraction, and only then do I flip it. So 2 whole 1/3, that's going to be 7/3. And now I'm going to rearrange the numerator and the denominator, and I get 3/7. Now, if I wanted to find the inverse of an integer, for an integer, what do? Let's say I have 6. How do I find the inverse number? I need a fractional number. I write that 6 is the first 6. And now I flip it over, rearrange it, and I end up with 1/6. That's all you have to do to find the reciprocal of the numbers. But in order to check that these numbers are mutually inverse, they need to be multiplied. And if the result is 1, then these numbers are reciprocal. And that's the end of our lesson. Goodbye. See you again.